today we're going to be talking about the Focus ST top 5 mods you must avoid 2026 edition. Number 1, the short shift plate. So I would avoid this. I first did one of these back in 2014, and it started really just causing some issues with my transmission. It actually caused premature wear on my second gear, and because I was running at 20% shorter throw. So even running like a short shift setup will cause premature wear on your synchros and your gears. But the short shift plate, because it's attached, so it attaches right here, and so what happens is when you attach it, it's going to shorten the distance, but also it's going to allow some play in this area. So basically it's not like as solid as this piece right here, or if you were going to do like an actual arm replacement, which would be way better than the plate itself. Now what happened to me was when in 2014 my cable actually snapped and I had to get the car towed to Ford. Luckily they replaced it under the warranty, but the bracket or the cable snapped because the short shift plate just had so much tension on the cable. And when I had the stock cables, you have that rubber grommet in there, and so, or the rubber bushing will cause extra play. And this will actually, this will also, the plates aren't steady, so yeah, it's tightened down, but they're not like 100% one piece. So what happens is it just causes a lot of like extra tension and wear over time. And if you shift hard like I did, then the cable will snap. It's known to do that. Just avoid getting a plate or remove it as soon as possible. But yeah, my cable had snapped doing a fourth gear pull one time, just shifting hard into fourth, and yeah, literally the whole shifter was all floppy and everything. Luckily I was not far from home. But moving on to number 2. Now this can be a little touchy subject. Oiled air filters. I don't like them personally. It's just a personal thing. I had a green air filter back in the day in 2013. When they first came out, it was like literally one of the first drop-in filters that you could do for an upgrade. It was cool. I had the open end on it. It was noisy. But the problem is, those filters, I could literally look into it. If you look closely into it, you can actually see right through it, like the webbing. And so you can see through the pleats. And that just tells me it doesn't filter good, you know what I'm saying? So what you want to do is just go with a dry filter, because there's less hassle. These oiled filters, you got to worry about the oily mess when you got to re-oil them, and then you got to clean them, and then re-oil them, and it just, you got to spend money on the oil kits and all that nonsense. It's just kind of ridiculous in my opinion, doing all that. It's just better off going with an AEM dry filter drop-in. It's way better. It's going to produce the same amount of noise. It's going to flow really good, way better than OEM anyways. And, it's just something that you want to do. Now, the Cobb air filter is a green air filter. The difference is the Cobb is, named as the Cobb badging, and it has gray instead of green on it. So the Cobb air filter is basically a rebadged green filter. So I would say AEM air filters are the number 1 pick for me. But if you had to go with another one, AFE is another good drop-in. Not as popular, but you can get the AEM air filters on Amazon. Number 3 is a big one. I would say, this is kind of a mod, I'd say, because when you add a programmer, it's a mod. So adding a tune before the proper mods. What I mean by that is, say you go buy a Cobb V3, which is the most popular, or just any programmer, and you're tuning. You want to get a tune. You want to be faster, right? You want to beat the GTI next door, or you want to go race a Civic. The thing is you got to properly mod these cars before you add a tune. It was a great example on that black Dark Knight ST I did for rebuild. That car didn't have a upgraded downpipe or a upgraded intercooler. And the problem is when you don't add those things, especially the intercooler. If you don't add an intercooler before adding a tune, it's a recipe for disaster, because you're adding extra heat into the system. The engine's going to create a lot of heat, cause the cylinder head to crack, which happened twice within 10,000 miles on that black car that I rebuilt before I had rebuilt it. And also, it can cause ringland failure prematurely because of the extra heat, which can promote knock and detonation as well. Basically, what I'm saying is don't get a tune before, doing an intercooler, or make sure when you do tune, you have the proper mods for that stage. So I would say like stage 1, if you're running an OTS map because you can't afford, a $100 flash tune by Stratified, then, I get it. Sometimes times are tough. You got to run the OTS maps. It's whatever. They can be reliable if you do it right. And a lot of people say, oh, they're not reliable. Yeah, they're not great. The OTS maps aren't great, but you can make them work if you're smart. What I mean by that is just watching your air-fuel ratios, watching your knock, watching your ignition corrections, making sure they don't go negative too bad. Generally, what I recommend is once you've modded your car fully and you run like a stage 3 tune, run it on 91 if you have 93 around you, or run 93 and add some E85, add a couple gallons. That way there it bumps your octane up. That way there the tune is safer, because the OTS stage 3 tune is, especially on 93, I used to get corrections with it. It was very aggressive back in the day. I don't know how it is now, but there has been some revisions done to that sense. But that being said, they are aggressive on stage 3, 93. So either run 91 tune, even if you're running 93, or run 93 tune and then add some E85 to bump up the octane. So you're, adding some safety margin into it. These cars just don't like heat. Most cars don't anyways. But these cars, they don't like heat. The extra heat, when you don't do an intercooler upgrade, those 150 degree charge temps are going to just heat up even more and a lot easier when you add a tune. So you got to think you're running, factory 18 pounds of boost, it tapers down to 14. Well, now you add a tune, say you're running even a stage 1 or stage 2, you're bumping it up to 20 pounds of boost, 21 pounds. Yeah, now you're adding a couple more pounds of boost, and that's creating more, heat in the system. So just overall, it's just not very good, and it's not very smart. So just make sure you, mod your car properly before doing a tune. That's all. Number 4 is going to be spark plugs. So don't buy some spark plugs on Amazon or eBay. It's a bad idea unless it's a very credible source, which is highly unlikely. You're just better off going through Summit Racing, and then, there's some other sites that are more credible than eBay and Amazon. Personally, I've just seen it so much. NGKs and Denzos get faked a lot on those, and it just, you're probably paying, I don't know how much they are because I don't ever look for those spark plugs on Amazon or eBay, but those are the 2 brands that get faked. I recommend Brisk racing plugs, and those are the best plugs you can run on these cars, bar none. I mean, the NGK rutheniums are good, but that being said, the Brisks are better for performance. And they're both going to last the same amount. It's like you don't get a spark plug for these cars when you're big turbo and expect them to last 30, 50,000 miles. Okay, if you have that mindset, then you probably shouldn't own this car, because that's not the way you need to mod this car the proper way. You got to take care of it. You got to change the oil, every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, depending on how you beat on it. You got to get the right stuff for it to last. You can't just leave spark plugs in there. Generally, when you're big turbo, you never want to leave spark plugs in it longer than 10,000 miles, depending on how you beat it. If you daily it and you have a big turbo, yeah, you could probably do 20,000 miles if it's mostly highway driving and you're not really, getting into it a whole lot. But that being said, you don't want to go much more than that. Even the brisk plugs, 20, 30,000 miles. I change my spark plugs once a year. That's just when I do my oil, that's when I do them. So it always gets a fresh set, and they're $40. It's cheap insurance, and it's a lot cheaper than replacing an engine or rebuilding an engine. But that being said, the brisk plugs, you can get them on Summer Racing, fsworks.com as well. FSWorks is like a Focus site where they've have MK1, MK2, MK3 Ford Focus mods. They've had it. They've been there forever. And, but I get my brisk plugs through Summit now. You just have to select 4 because they sell it by a quantity of 1. So for stock turbo stuff, I recommend the Brisk RR14YS. They come gapped at 28 thousandths right out of the box. NGKs come gapped for NA, so 45 thousandths. And, they're not actually meant to be gapped below 30 thousandths anyways per NGK. So number 5 on the list, don't get upgraded coil packs. Some people do it. They look cool. Yeah, I get it. People get the MSD coil packs or they get the Excel coil packs. I was looking at the Excel coil packs, did some research on them years ago when they first came out. I liked the blue ones that they had, and they had the yellow ones too. They look cool, but it's like they don't really do nothing. They don't benefit our car. They don't actually last compared to the OEM ones, and they're not reliable. There's no benefit, so there's no reason to get them other than, you want bonus points or car meet. I mean, that's really it. And then, literally just use OEM or Bosch replacement from like Rock Auto or something. Other than that, that's enough said about that. This is my top 5 for the top 5 mods you must avoid. And this is the 2026 edition. So hopefully you enjoyed. So we have some upgraded Purge lines left, still available. We're still making them. And some fuel lines. There should be some left. Just contact me at whiteblurrst@gmail.com. So to remember to like and subscribe. Share the video if you want to. Stay tuned for the 2.4 stroker build. It's going to be insane. Where you're running a 2.4, stage 3 cams, precision 56.62 next gen. And it's also a 105 AR. And also it's a Sidewinder that I custom built with a exhaust manifold from a Mazda Speed 3 that's cast stainless. So this is a 4-port. But if you want to support the channel, links are in the description. And yeah, so we'll see you on the next one.